All children at some point will try to dig a pit in their yard to catch a large animal in. Alright, so, hello everyone, you're watching YouTube. I'm Isaac, and this is 10,000 Pretty Good Books, the channel where I review, recommend, and critique children's picture books and literature. And it's time for a recommendation of Those Terrible Toy Breakers, written and illustrated by David McPhail and published by Parents Magazine Press in 1980. David McPhail is an incredibly prolific author, with, I believe, more than 200 books to his name. But this little tale of mysterious toy breakage was one of my favorites as a little boy. It's about a young boy named Walter who lives in a house in what appears to be a jungle. Whenever Walter loses or forgets to put away one of his toys, something happens to it during the night. The toy mysteriously reappears on the lawn in the morning, but broken. Walter's friend Bernie insists that these acts of destruction are being perpetrated by a lion, a tiger, and an elephant. And the two boys take steps to catch those terrible toy breakers and put a stop to their destruction of Walter's property. There are several things about this book that I love and that would make it worth any child's while. First, it features a character who is a recognizable and amusing type. The little boy who has an explanation for everything, and explains hidden causes and reasons with a certitude that completely belies the outlandishness of his theories. Why is my football squashed, Walter wants to know? And Bernie explains confidently. Because a tiger thought it was a tiger egg. Because of the stripes, and sat on it. I like that in this story, the confident speculator turns out to be completely right. Second reason I like this book, it features a classic trope of outdoor childhood play. To try to catch the toy breakers, the boys dig a big pit in the yard. They cover it over with branches, and then cover the branches with leaves and dirt for camouflage, and then they set bait for the culprits in the form of Walter's teddy bear. Now, this appeals to me on a very deep level. I think it appeals to a lot of kids. Children try this method of catching large animals by nature. I'm convinced that all children at some point will try to dig a pit in their yard to catch a large animal in. I tried this after I first read this book. I think even before I saw the movie Swiss Family Robinson. Great movie. But all kids do it. Maybe you don't finish digging your hole. Maybe your parents don't let you finish digging the hole. But whatever, it's still written on the very heart of human childhood. Anyway, if you didn't try this as a child, I am not persuaded that you are currently a reasonable or trustworthy adult. Now, before my final thoughts, it's time for the second best picture in this book. In this picture, the lion and the tiger have both already fallen into the pit. The elephant has lowered his trunk to pull them out, but because the two big cats didn't go one at a time, they've managed to make their situation much worse as the elephant tumbles tail over tea kettle into the pit on top of them both. I think this picture is hilarious, especially the expressions on the faces of the lion and the tiger. So that was the second best picture in this book. If you want to see the best one, you'll have to pick up a copy. The third reason I like this book is that it contains the earliest example I can remember reading of what I now call in my head a gift-giving scene. It's not quite the same as a scene that takes place on Christmas morning or at a birthday. Although those are always delightful to read about too, it's when one person gives gifts to a group. Gifts that they have selected as appropriate for each person somehow. When we read these scenes, of course, we're being invited to consider the fittingness of the gifts. A little later in my childhood, I would encounter two of the most famous gift-giving scenes in literature. One when Father Christmas is handing out all of the gifts to the Pevensey children, minus Edmund, of course, in C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And then the other is when Galadriel, the Lady of the Woods of Lothlorien, distributes gifts to the Fellowship in Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Ah, Gimli, man. Gimli forever. But anyway, the interest and delight I took in dwelling on the significance of the gifts and how they matched up with the characters in these scenes, and how much I enjoyed imagining being a part of such a gift giving and wondering what I would have been given, what gift would have been just right and appropriate for me. I can trace that back to the final scene in Those Terrible Toy Breakers. I don't want to give it away, but there is rescue, sorrow, reparations, reconciliation, and then gratuitous gift giving. To sum up, this book has lasted in my imagination, and I recommend that you add it to your home library and give it to your kids to read, or read it to them. It is out of print, but I was able to find cheap copies available for sale online at certain major distributors. If you want more reviews and recommendations like this one, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you know some parents on the hunt for great children's books, or who may be interested in helping their children develop good taste, then share this video with them. And if you remember reading Those Terrible Toy Breakers yourself, or you're just excited to check it out, let me know in the comments. And also let me know, what should I review next? See you next time.
Hi.
Hi.